Today, I give the inspirational reading. It is from the Daily Word of March and April, of March. And I read, as I pray, I immerse myself in silence so I can be still and know. From this place of deep communion, I relax and focus my attention on the divine ideals of life, love, wisdom, strength, and order, which are always mine to claim. As these spiritual truths flourish in my consciousness, thoughts of my troubles and worries fade from my mind. In the past, I may have believed prayer was a way of asking God for help and solace. Now, I understand it as one of the best ways of helping and uplifting myself. And from Psalm 46:10, be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. And now, I introduce to you a leader, organizer, thinker, prayer, spiritual, wonderful person, Reverend. She is speaking Finding Gold in the Rainbow. So let's welcome Reverend Marianne Kelley.
Thank you. Thank you, Elaine. Sure. Thank you. Sorry. Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everyone this morning?
Perfect spiritual decline.
Perfect spiritual incline, that's good. All of those things, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Well. Top of the morning. And the balance of the day. Well, that's cool. Happy St. Patty's Day. We're going to talk about finding the gold in the rainbow. Boy, there's a lot of stuff up here. Finding the gold in the rainbow. Well, you know, before we can have a rainbow, what do we have? We have rain. Sometimes it's stormy, and sometimes it's tumultuous. And so, when we finally finish the rain, and there's still moisture in the air, and the sun comes shining through, the prisms open up, and what we get is the most beautiful rainbow. And this was promised to us by God after the great flood that Noah took care of, taking one or two of every animal that he could find onto the rainbow, or onto the ark. And after the storm, 40 days and 40 nights, there came a great, beautiful rainbow. And the bird came back with a twig in his mouth. And they knew that they were about to be saved from that ark. It was probably after 40 days and 40 nights. It was pretty rank, pretty smelly. But in any case, they found their home. And that was their gold. That was their gold. And we are promised the same thing. Whenever we have a hardship of some kind, and to take that off. Whenever we have a hardship of any kind, we are always promised that there is a rainbow. And at the end of that rainbow, there is our pot of gold, our pot of good, our pot, that's where we find God. That is within all of us. And so, this is a month that we're celebrating a lot of diversity. We have Ramadan, which is Islamic holy month, in which they all they go into fasting and prayer and service and communal gatherings and spiritual development. This is their month of introspection, and that's the Islamic family. And then on March 17th, today, we're celebrating the time that St. Patrick was supposedly chased the snakes out of Ireland. He developed churches and schools and throughout the islands of Ireland, and that's what they're celebrating today, and that's what we're celebrating today. Actually, we're just celebrating a day. We just love it. We just love St. Patrick's Day. And then also on March 19th is the first day of spring, or the equinox. And the interesting thing about that is that it's a pagan holiday. It's a pagan holiday of yore, but we're still celebrating it in another way. But it is a time of realizing that the day, everything's in balance. 12 hours day, 12 hours evening. It's just wonderful. And then on the 29th, we have Palm Sunday. And Palm Sunday is the day that Jesus rode into Jerusalem in a triumphant parade that everybody decided on a spur of the moment to do. And they got these palms and they were waving them around, saying, "Hallelujah, hallelujah, he has come." And they were throwing cloaks on the ground so that his donkey wouldn't trip or anything like that. So these were 3 days before. This was a week before his crucifixion. And then on Easter Sunday, March 31st this month, wow, it all comes this month, can you believe that? As the day the Christians celebrate the risen Jesus the Christ from the dead. And that is a very holy day for all of us, and that's the day that we can understand that Christ is within all of us. So, lots going on, and it's our time to reflect as well. We can enjoy all of these wonderful holidays that were handed down to us by our ancestors, and understand that there is one God, has many names, but we all honor the one true God. And the one true God is where? I remember growing up and the nuns were teaching us in school that God is everywhere present. At that time I thought, how can that be? Because you see, my thought of what God was an old man with a long white beard, sitting up in a cloud in a big throne, and punishing anybody who did anything bad, and loving anybody who did everything good. And so, I thought, well, I don't know how this can be. It was, a little child doesn't really understand these things, but we do get to it. And what I understand now, that what I focus on is what I get. When we read in Being a Christ by Ann and Peter Meyer, we learn that perfection everywhere now and everywhere present. And we wonder how that can be. How can that be? Well, when we reflect on the world today, if we look at the news, we can get pretty discouraged and maybe even depressed. Because it seems like there's strife going on in several parts of our world, and it just doesn't seem right. So we go into our judgment. And yet when we stop and think about in our lives, whenever we have gone through a period of stress or depression or not understanding, when we look back on it from a distance, that was then, this is now, we're looking at it from a distance, we realize that within that strife, within that fear, whatever it was, depression, whatever it was, that thing led us to where we are today, or to something even better. But we didn't recognize it until we look back on it and say, wow, if that hadn't happened exactly as it did, I couldn't have learned in the manner that I did and be where I am today, which is a pretty darn good place, a pretty blessed good place, I think. So that's my pot of gold at the end of strife. Understanding that within everything that's going on, so what do we do about that? What do we do about that when we're in the moment where it doesn't feel very good? remember the power. Remember what Jesus told us. The 2 great commandments. Love God above all things. Love your neighbor as yourself. The 2 commandments. He said these were the greatest. And all others came from those 2. So there's the rainbow. And there's the pot of gold. And continuing on, we find some other things. So that upon which we focus, for instance, if we focused on the news of the day, we could become so depressed. So we catch ourselves in these focusing moments when we're not where we want to be, where it doesn't feel well, it doesn't feel good, and change it around. And we have the power to do that because we're in charge of our thoughts. We are in charge of our thoughts. And we can take any thought that we have and change it to something else. But the first thing we want to do is we want to put love into whatever's going on. Because love is the true power. And Jesus told us that. Love is the key. Love is the key. Love God and love your neighbor as yourself. So as we reflect on our world, we can choose what we want to create and know that our thoughts do create. As Job said in the Bible, that which I feared came upon me. Meaning that his thoughts brought the turmoil that he experienced. So if we'd rather not express turmoil, if we'd rather not receive turmoil, let's focus on the good. Focus on what is really, really good. Because when God created the world, now remember, God is not a personality. We know God by many, many names. Buddha, Yahweh, Great Spirit, Spirit, Higher Self, God Self. And actually, quite frankly, that's not the name. The name is a consciousness. God is a consciousness, not a personality. But we had to have some way of grasping what the greater thing, the creative process was. And that creative process is consciousness. And the consciousness contemplated itself, and it wanted to feel something more, because it was pretty desolate. It was just all darkness. And so the consciousness had the idea of light, and said, let there be light. And there was light. And guess what? It was good. And then he created other things, and they were all good. And so we come to us. The Creator had to create this of itself, the creation, the consciousness. The consciousness is shared in the form of other things, beings. You can say to yourself, Spirit doesn't answer God doesn't listen to me, doesn't answer my prayers. Well, that's not the way it works. God, consciousness always says, yes, whatever it is you want, you shall have. And so the thoughts that we think, the words that we speak, the actions that we take are all a part of the prayer, all a part of the divine plan of what the consciousness, the great consciousness says. And so the Spirit doesn't judge. It's too busy creating and loving to do anything else. So it does not judge anything. So, well, being everywhere present, we can say that it entails, what does that entail? It entails all of the companions that we have, everyone we know. It is everything we see, everything we taste, everything we touch. It's all of the creative process. And so what is this? It's all here for us to love and to honor and to enjoy and to be a part of, because it is a part of us. All of the atoms and molecules and cells within our body are within everything else's body in different form. But it's all the same energy that created it. So how are we going to enjoy all of this? Well, by honoring all of creation. And by that, what do we mean? And can we do that? Well, remember when this man was traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho, and he was set upon by a bunch of thieves and robbers, and they hurt him badly, and took all of his possessions, his money, his clothes, everything. And the priest came by, and he looked at him, and he went across the road and went the other way. And another man came along, a lawyer came along, and he didn't even look, he just kept on going. And then came along, this fellow. He was a Samaritan. And do you know what a Samaritan was? The Jews called them half-breeds because they were Jews that had married into other cultures. And they were despised. And Jesus used this metaphor. And he said, it was the Samaritan that came along and he saw this man. And he had compassion for him. And he bound up his wounds and he fed him some food and some new wine. And he put him on his donkey and took him to the inn and told the innkeeper, take care of this man. Whatever he has need of, take care of him. If he needs food, give him food. Give him lodging. And here's a bunch of money. Take it, and when this runs out, when I come back, I'll take care of the rest of it. This was a man despised. And yet, Jesus said, go and do likewise. Who was the compassionate one? Who was the one that showed love? It was this good Samaritan. So, again, we see that we are a part of the whole. In persons, in places, in things. And I'd like to challenge all of us here to go and do likewise too. I have a little book here that I just really love. It's Anam Cara. And this is by John O'Donohue. And this is Spiritual Wisdom from the Celtic World. And I found something in here that fits very nicely with this. And I'd like to read it to you. It's on page 31. And I have this is the 25th edition, anniversary edition. And it says, in the kingdom of love, there is no competition. Prayer is an act and a presence of sending light from the bountifulness of your love to other people and to heal, to free, to bless them. Where there is love in your life, you should share it spiritually with those who are pushed to the very edge of life. This is a lovely idea in the Celtic tradition that if you send out the goodness from yourself, or if you share that which is happy and good within you, it will all come back to you multiplied 10,000 times. In the kingdom of love, there is no competition. There is no possessiveness or control. There is love. The more love you give away, the more love you will have. One remembers here of Dante's notion that the secret rhythm of the universe is the rhythm of love, which moves the stars and the planets. Love is the source, the center, and the destiny of experience. Wow. Those Celts, they're pretty sharp. And so, what can we do? What can we do? Well, we can help with the food bank. We could become a big brother, a big sister. We could foster orphan animals until they can find their forever home. We can volunteer for any number of charities, like Meals on Wheels. What speaks to your heart? What feels good to you? Go and do that. For that is yours to do, if it speaks to your heart. Go and do likewise. Can you look into the eyes of another person and see yourself reflected back? That person is a reflection. Because we know them, or because we acknowledge them, or because we see them, they somehow reflect back to us. And they are a part of who we are. They are part of the one divine. So, what is this? What is this about the gold at the end of the rainbow? We have many different peoples, many different species. We have the animal species. We have the mineral species. We have the ocean, we have the mountains, we have all the fishes and many other creatures that we probably haven't even seen yet or don't even know about, all right here on this beautiful blue planet. It spins around the sun. And it's all a part of who we are. And the good that we have that is within us is what we share. That's the pot of gold at the end of our rainbow, when we recognize that everything, the storms that have come before, the rainbow has been promised. In the rainbow, in the promise, there is our pot of gold, our pot of good. There God is. And God resides where? Everywhere present, meaning that God expresses itself through all of its creation, which it created to be very good, good and very good. And that means everyone and everything, perceived and unperceived. That's the pot of gold. So, we can meet the seeming storm that comes to us, the distress, by loving it and holding out our hands and waiting for the promise of the pot of gold, the pot of good, the pot of our divine goodness. And all it received, it's already here. This is the point. It's already here. It's only awaiting our recognition of it and our acceptance of it. And that's the way it works. Now I have another little reading for you from the Aramkara. And this one is a friendship blessing. May you be blessed with good friends. May you learn to be a good friend to yourself. May you be able to journey to the place of your soul where there is great love, warmth, feeling, and forgiveness. May this change you. May it figure that which is negative, distant, and cold to you in you. May it be brought into the real passion, kinship, and affinity, and belong. And may you treasure your friends. May you be good to them, and may you be there for them. And may they bring you all the blessings, challenges, and light that you need for your journey. May you never be isolated. May you be in the gentle nest belonging with your Anamkara. Now what is the Anamkara? The Anamkara means soul friends, soul selves, soulmates, one in all spirit, and that's what it's about. Remember, the pot of gold is a pot of good. It is the pot of God, and it is within all of us. And so, I say to you, for all of us, may all of our Alamkara, our soul friends, our soulmates, and the one Spirit of God rest within all of us at all times. So let it be written, so let it be done. And I say thank you, wonderful God, in all of us, for all of you who are in my life now, for all of you who have been in my life. I say, I am so blessed to know that you are me and I am you. So it is, and so let it be. Amen. Thank you.
Was incredible. It was beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Reverend Mary Ann Kelley. Ah, gold in the rainbow. Beautiful. Oh, if you have found value in today's beautiful service, we invite you to assist in supporting the teaching of the inner Christ as you are led by visiting our website, teachingoftheinnerchrist.org, with your donation. All right, we trust completely what Jesus promised us in Luke 6:38. Give and it will be given to you. good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be put in your lap. For with the measure that you use, it will be measured back to you. Okay. Thank you for your loving donations.